a la milla.
Thank you for having me today. First, I'm going to start talking about where do you think your decision-making process comes from. Every day, we're making all kinds of decisions. We are not aware of that, but we're constantly making decisions. Even when we're bored, we even have to make a decision on which kind of thoughts to entertain. So, for example, how do we decide what to eat, where to work, what sports to play, what shows to watch, what friends to have, who you choose to put up with, or what car to buy? So, we all think erroneously that we decide based on logic, that we analyze the pros and the cons, and then we come to a conclusion. And that is not true. We are deceiving ourselves. I want you to realize that based on my research, our decision-making process is linked to your belief system. For example, I'm going to talk about a very simple decision that we all make every day. What clothes to wear?
Oh, I thought it was to get up.
Tell you're retired.
Every time I go to the shopping mall, I'm looking for the sales, but I'm also looking for pretty elegant clothes. Very elegant all the time. I will never get a t-shirt or a pair of jeans because I love elegant clothes. I take the elegant clothes to my house, to my closet, and every day in the morning, I have one voice, the voice in me that wants to be elegant says, I want you to wear that silk blouse that you wore yesterday. And there's another voice that we're never aware of, and that's the voice of the I am. So this is how the dialogue between the I want and the I am voice goes. The I want says, Alba, go ahead, wear that silk blouse. The I am will look for excuses. No, today you're going to be very busy, you're probably going to sweat a lot, that blouse is pretty but it's probably not too comfortable. So then the I want voice says, okay, maybe tomorrow. Next day comes, the I want voice says, yay, today can I wear those nice earrings? And the I am voice says, no. Today, you're going to be taking the dogs to the groomer, and probably they're going to bite your earring off. So every day is the same excuse. I want something, but I end up doing something else. Here's the trick. I want to be an elegant person, but I am not an elegant person. So where does the I want come from? The I want comes from your conscious mind. And I'm sure everybody knows the difference between conscious mind and subconscious mind. The subconscious mind carries the belief system of who we think we are, who we believe we are. The conscious mind is just based on decisions and what our wishes are, but the one who has the last word is always our subconscious mind. So, I want to be elegant, and every day I find an excuse to be who I am. Casual. For example, these clothes. The last time I wore these was in my kid's first communion 5 years ago. And this is the first time I'm wearing this blouse. So my closet is full of very elegant clothes. And I have like maybe 5 t-shirts and maybe 5 pair of jeans, and those are the things that I'm always recycling. Why? Because in my mind, as my upbringing, I associate elegant with some sort of stuck-up, bragging kind of person. I grew up in Mexico City in a society that pays so much attention in appearances that I was annoyed to see that if you dress nice and you're worthy based on the car you drive, the clothes you wear, and the purse you use. And I didn't like that. So one part of my mind associates being elegant with uncomfortable. So I want to show you the subconscious mind has a lot of brain power, and the willpower is very, very limited. So I just made this cartoon for you so you can see how the subconscious mind is much more powerful. So now, I'm a hypnotherapist and I want you to realize something. People come to see me because they want to do a lot of things. They want to, example for my clients, they want to lose weight, they want to go to the gym, they want to finish their taxes, they want to clean up their garage, they want to be more confident, they want to speak up more, they want to stop worrying about little things, and they want to be happy. What voice is that? I want. But then when I ask, for example, my client who wants to lose weight, I'm like, okay, you want to lose weight, tell me about yourself. I'm a bum and a couch potato, and I love carbs. So, I am a bum and a couch potato, and I love carbs, but I want to lose weight. Who's going to win? The person who says, I want to go to the gym, I'm a slob and I'm lazy. So the I am is I'm lazy and I want to go to the gym. Who is going to win? So the truth is that every time you want something, you will not accomplish it until you become the kind of person who achieves those things. So when I asked you before, where does our decision-making process come, and we think it is from the conscious mind, it's wrong. Your behavior and your decision-making process is linked to your I am, not to your I want. People tell me, where does the I am come from? Because that's the next logical step to ask. Where does the I am come from? I'm going to change subject to phobias. As a hypnotherapist, I also have a lot of clients who come to see me because they have a phobia. And the phobia that I get the most is the phobia of driving. So I have a client, she comes and she tells me, I tell her, what can I help you with? And she says, I have a phobia of driving. And I said, how it started? And she says, I was in a car accident, and after the car accident, there's no way I can get behind the wheel. So the car accident for her, it's a shock, like a very emotional shock. Then I have another client, she has a phobia of driving. And I ask her, where does your phobia come from? And there's something very interesting here. People feel that in order for me to help you, I have to know where you come from. But the mind is like a GPS. If I want to get from here to Saratoga, I don't care how you got here. I can always drive you there. So if I ask people, why do you think you got that? Is for morbid purposes, but I really don't need to know. So in this case, she couldn't remember why she got the phobia because she was not in a car accident, and I was very intrigued. How can you have a phobia of driving if you have never been in a car accident? And then we were thinking, and I was tried to remember, and she said, maybe because when I was little, my grandmother was always bombarding me as a little kid, be careful because cars are very dangerous. So in her case, it wasn't a shock, it was a repetition. That brings another question. What does that have to do with me? This is the way your belief system is created, either by shock or by repetition. There's no other way around it. And I'm thinking, well, you know that the subconscious mind is called the primitive part of the brain, and that part of the brain has no common sense. All it cares about is what? Your survival. In the prehistoric era, our main goal was to survive. I can imagine a prehistoric dad telling the kid, remember, son, lions eat humans. And that's through repetition. Over and over and over and over and over, and finally the kid sees a lion and he has no time to think because the fight or flight is triggered, and that's a survival mechanism. And it's exactly the same thing that happened to my client who's terrified of driving because her grandmother was telling her, Remember, cars are very dangerous, so she has the same reaction. Or maybe the dad never told the kid that lions were dangerous, but then this is what happens. Some lions eat humans through shock. So the kid ends up being terrified of lions either through repetition or through shock. My dad, he remembers that through repetition, his mother always told him throughout his childhood, you have to finish what's in your plate. What's on your plate? Because there's starving children somewhere. So he learned with that command and over, and now he's 80 and he says to me, you know what? There's no way I can leave food on my plate. There's something like that goes beyond what I want to do. So now I'm going to give you examples of shock, okay? First of all, I'm going to define shock for you. Of course, a car accident is a very bad shock, or abuse or tragedy, or you're embarrassed, or ecstatic joy, fear, or super happy events. For example, a surprise party can be a very happy event, and it's a shock, because I remember when they gave me a surprise party when I turned 20, I almost had a heart attack. So that's a happy shock. I was raised in Mexico. You know, piñatas in Mexico are full of candy, and there's always piñatas for somebody's birthday. So I grew up breaking piñatas and eating candy, and I started to associate candy with party and fun. Then the birthday cake and cupcakes and a lot of icing. So through repetition and shock, my mind learned, and your mind too. You were growing up thinking that sweets are good. If it's a estimated guess that you learned that. So throughout the years, with lots of repetition, sweets are good, sweets are good, sweets are good. Sweets, like for example, you fall off your bike and your mom gives you a cookie because you're crying. Then you associate sweets with soothing. So throughout your childhood, through repetition and shock, you start associating sweets with happy. Then what happens? You go to the doctor, you're an adult already, the doctor says to you, hey, by the way, your sugar levels are a little high, I think you have to cut down on sugar. So then you know that, and you go, and your conscious mind says, the doctor says I have to lower my sugar intake, and that's I want. So then the subconscious mind, because the subconscious mind is really nice, she will say, sure, let me check my files. And then it opens the files, and all it sees, what does it see? It's like happiness, hugs, soothing, happiness, hugs, is the survival compromise there. Is the survival compromise? If you have learned to associate sweets with happy events. No. So what does the subconscious mind say? Sorry, I cannot help you. And then the conscious mind says, but the doctor says. And the subconscious mind says, sorry, I cannot help you. So then what does the conscious mind say? Fine, I'll go on a diet. And then the subconscious mind will say, good luck with it. And then you're going to be sabotaging yourself all throughout the way, because the moment you know you cannot have cheesecake, you start seeing cheesecake everywhere, even in the bumper sticker in the car ahead of you. And repetition is an idea that is repeated over and over and over and doesn't have to have emotional impact. For example, the multiplication tables. Nobody gets excited or sad or happy with the multiplication tables. You're just in second grade and you go over and over and over and over until you remember it. Or the time you get a new phone number. You go over and over and over, and then I say, give me your phone number, and you're like, you don't even have to think about it. So those things become automatic. So repetition is an idea repeated over and over, but no emotional impact. Examples of repetition: learning how to play an instrument, being told that you're stupid. That's a good one, because a lot of us had somebody in our childhood who said it more than once, that we are not smart enough. Being told that you're not good enough, being told that life is a struggle, or being told that you will never accomplish that, or being told that you will always accomplish that. When you believe those things, guess where your decision-making process comes from? Your decision-making process then is linked to believing you're stupid, believing you're not good enough, that life is a struggle, that it is very hard to accomplish A, B, or C. At your age, blah, blah, blah. These things should happen or this thing shouldn't happen. Like based on what? We just believe that. That I'm losing my memory and that keeping those pounds off, that lowering your cholesterol or sugar intake, it's nearly impossible. That is what leads your decision-making process. That's why New Year's resolution always fail. Now you know that it doesn't come from logic because you know you shouldn't have that extra piece of cookie and you do. Where do shocks come from? Somebody tell me. Raise your hand. Where do shocks come from?
Outside sources?
What?
Things outside of you.
Yes.
Outside sources.
Environment.
Experiences.
Yes, experiences like a car accident or a surprise party. So now I have a question for you. Where do repetitions come from? And this is very interesting. Where do-
Family.
Yes, what else?
People we interact with.
Yes. But the number one is
Experience.
your thought process. Because I can come here and feel too good about myself and call you stupid once. I only have to call you once. And then you go home and thinking, maybe Alba is right. Maybe I'm a little stupid. La, 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 la. So you end up believing that because you said it over and over and over. Then transformation of the I am. What are the steps you need to take in order to change who you think you are in order to accomplish what you want? But we're always generalizing because our subconscious mind cannot handle isolated events. For example, we see somebody who's acting weird, and then we say, he's a weirdo. Probably the poor guy had a little too much to drink that day, but he's a genius. But we see one isolated event, and then we say, oh, he's a weirdo. And I'm going to give you an example of my family. My mom has, my mom suddenly developed this disease called Sjogren's disease, which is kind of similar to lupus. It doesn't give her trouble, but this is the way it works. She got Sjogren's. Then she asked her mom, who in the family has Sjogren's? And my grandmother said, it's probably your grandfather's side of the family, because everything that something goes wrong with my mom and her sister, it's my grandfather's side of the family, according to my grandmother.
Yeah.
So then my mom goes to my grandfather and says, hey, do you have Sjogren's in the family? And he says, I think this cousin from Lebanon, because my grandfather is from Lebanon, has Sjogren's. So then my mom says, show me her picture, what is she like? And she says, oh, she has green eyes like you. So then my mom, guess what? She makes a generalization. All the women with green eyes in the family have Sjogren's, have this tendency of developing Sjogren's disease. So then I go to Mexico, and if I say, Mom, I have a little headache, she's like, Sjogren's. And I'm like, no, I don't think I have Sjogren's. Yes, I think you do. Let's go to the doctor. Another thing the subconscious mind is very picky about, focusing on the negative. We focus on the negative. Why? Because the negative the positive won't keep us alive. If the police officers in Fremont go on a strike, we need to know. But if the Boy Scout saved a puppy from drowning, we don't need to know. And I have one here that I want you to make sure you're not eating, because when I tell you that, you're gonna choke. Are you ready? Yes?
Yeah. Ready.
Are you done reading?
Can't read it from here.
We train people to treat us the way they do, right? And then we complain. So I have good news. If everything started through repetition and shock, how do we change that?
Reverse it.
How?
Positive input.
Hmm?
Get positive input.
Repetition and shock. If you have told yourself like you're stupid so many years, if you say no, I'm not stupid, I'm super smart, in less than 3 weeks you're gonna believe it. So you can learn to rewire your brain into changing your decision-making process by making the I am and the I want the same thing. And thank you.